So I have to voice over this because of all the wind, but we're going to be talking about the 3-point start. And I'm elaborating here is I'm talking about how we want good shapes and how the 3-point start is very, very, let's say, personalized from each person to person. But one thing we want to be when we finally start figuring out our proportions is it's going to be uncomfortable at first, and we need to be able to find ourselves to be comfortable. But then right here, I'm talking about our landmarks. I scratched out a line. And one thing I'm going to talk about is a lot of people will use their feet, but I find that it's better to use your shin. But for me, I have really big feet, so I can use my feet to measure. And I'm talking about for most people, they want to put their dominant foot in the back. But if you're able to mess around and get a bunch of times, you can find whichever foot is the fastest. And the reason I always tell you put the dominant foot back is because a lot of people will take it and put about 100% of their body weight on it and then not get a good push off of two legs. But here you can see I'm explaining. I know you can't hear me, but I'm explaining that the most people should use their shin. But since I actually have quite large feet for my height, I'm actually going to use my feet. I take the front of the line and I put my desired foot. That's going to be the front back. And then I talk about where you could drop your knee. For me, I'm going to drop it down straight in front of the toe, right here. That's going to be good for most people. And then the stronger you are, the farther you can put it back. It's going to be probably a little more stable, but very much harder to really get fast, per se. But for me, like I said, I'm going to put it at the very front of the toe. And I'm going to always try to keep about my feet hip width. And then here I'm putting down my hands, getting them ready at the front of the line of whatever I picked. And I'm going to drive my feet into ground. And then I'm going to take this opposite hand and I'm actually going to put that thumb down the middle of that thigh. As you can see that I'm explaining right there. Then the next is I'll show is I'm going to cover my hands, or my hands and my shoulders are going to be straight line, and I'm going to raise my hips with good tension in both my legs, and my butt should actually be above my head with a nice flat back. And here I'm explaining the pressure in the feet. I want about 70 in the front, 30 in the back, or if you're more comfortable with about 60-40. Then I'm put my hand in that pocket.